it's becoming very important that you do not just advertise, that you send a message. A message is not what is written on paper. A message is not some copywriting or some design. It's part of it. A message is the overall posture of your institution, your brand. What do you stand for? Who do you stand for? How do you relate power? How do you share power with people that you served? All of these are very important as we look at advertising in a changing landscape where it's becoming less and less of click and buy, and it's becoming more of who are you? Why do I need to trust you? So whether we're selling vaccination, or we're selling hospital beds, or we are selling a luxury bag, or a research center somewhere far away, all of this is going to be determined by what do you stand for. We are seeing a generation that is being defined or that is becoming more conscious about these things. Given the way machine is going to take over some of the mundane things of advertising. So then what do you do as agency? What do you do as marketing or as marketing communication team? I believe that our role should go beyond just creating advertising. We should be looking at creating systems for the stories that we tell to live in. What do I mean by creating systems? I'm going to illustrate this by using two very, very recent examples. What comes to mind is Nike and United Color of Benetton campaigns. These two campaigns are very instructive about how we might build a system for our messaging or our storytelling, how we build storytelling systems that can contain what we're trying to say in our campaigns. Let's look at them one by one. Let's start with United Color of Benetton. United Color of Benetton UNHATE campaign will be one of the most provocative advertising that many of us have ever seen. In fact, some people claim that that's where the origin of Shockvertising started. That's where people began to use the word Shockvertising, because we saw these adverts, that kind of literally woke us up to make us be more conscious. In the 90s, post the civil rights movement, people became more conscious of things like human rights, loving one another, creating communities. And some claim that we saw vitriol from both sides, whether you're on the left or the side or the right of politics. And advertising would step in to curate some of these cultural artifacts, some of these historic moments. So Benetton, the CEOs, the executive of Benetton, they hired Toscani, Oliviero Toscani. Oliviero Toscani was a powerful, a creative photographer, provocateur, if you may say. He believed that it would be a waste for advertising to just advertise products. That is such a powerful medium of storytelling. Why don't we look into what's going on around us? Why don't we make commentary about culture, about politics, about things going on around us, about policies? And so Toscani created, the iconic UNHATE campaign. So you can look at this. Looking at this campaign, you see that you don't see so much of the brand. You don't see so much of what the brand is. Nobody is wearing T-shirts and all of that. What we see here is a campaign that is curating what's going on in culture, what's going on in the environment. We see conversations being provoked. Don't forget, this was kind of a bookmark during the rise of social media, the internet era. And so it was what our viral campaign will be before we began to talk about going viral. And it was sustainable. It was sustainable because it had a foundation around it, the UNHATE Foundation. So they brought all of this campaign, all of this idea together, and it was great. But a few months ago, I was trying to go to the store of Benetton, and I realized that the store is closing. And so this is something happening. It may not be because of the campaign. But Benetton doesn't really exist. The business shutting down globally. You may ask, what happened? How come the advertising that they did that made the world talk about racism, about capital punishment, how come all of this did not sustain the business? What did they do right? Yeah. So this is what I mean by it's not enough to tell stories. It's not enough to create beautiful campaign. We need to create what I call storytelling systems. And I'm going to use the next example to illustrate that. I hope that I get to see you in my next class. My name is Kehinde Bademosi. Thank you very much.